Hello there, and welcome to Her Money Mindset, the podcast where we talk about all things money, mindset, and how our relationship with finances shapes our lives. I'm Courtney Schwangler, and I am so excited to have you here. This podcast is for women who want to take control of their financial futures, transform the way they think about money, and finally break free from any limiting beliefs or fears surrounding their finances. Whether you're just starting out on your money journey, you're looking to build wealth, or you want to get clear on your financial goals, this show is for you. Here on Her Money Mindset, we're diving deep into topics like budgeting, saving, investing, and everything in between. But we're not just talking numbers and strategies. We're digging into the real reasons why so many of us struggle with money in the first place. Our mindset around money plays a huge role in how we handle it, and it's about time we got real with it. I'll be sharing tips and tools to help you feel more confident in your financial decisions, but we'll also be exploring how your personal history, upbringing, and past experiences with money can influence how you manage it today. It's time to heal that relationship with money and make it work for you. So, if you're ready to shift your mindset, build the life you deserve, and start making money work for you, then you're in the right place. I can't wait to take this journey with you, and if you need some tools to get you started, you can grab my budget bundle. This bundle includes my budgeting template, my 10-day money mindset challenge, and my 2-week budget bootcamp. So if you've made the decision to take back control over your finances, now is the time to go grab that budget bundle and get these amazing tools to help you on your financial freedom journey. I'll have that bundle linked in the show notes and in the bio of any of my socials for you to grab today. If you need more accountability and someone to guide you along the way, sign up for one-on-one coaching with me. I would love to help you on your financial journey. And I am so excited to share with you guys that my community for women wanting to work on their finances, feel less alone, and be held accountable is open. This is a passion project of mine, and I'm so grateful that the time is finally here to share it with you all. So, inside Her Money Club, we have a different money theme each month. So, for June, it is summer savings. And for July, we're going to be talking about financial independence. And so you get a different money theme each month. You get savings and no spend trackers related to the money theme. You get weekly accountability money check-ins, exclusive podcast episodes, group coaching calls, a community forum to ask and answer questions, and so much more. I'll have that link for you to sign up today in the show notes, and I can't wait to see you there. I am so excited about this, you guys. All right. Now, let's dive into this episode, which is Emergency Fund 101. So, what is an emergency fund? So, an emergency fund is literally just as simple as it sounds. It's money that you keep in a separate place for emergencies. So, this is money that preferably you will keep in a high yield savings account. So, there's a ton of different options like SoFi, Wealthfront, Ally, things like that. And this money is going to be about 3 to 6 months worth of your expenses in this specific account designated as your emergency fund. So, a minimum emergency fund that I recommend is $1,000. And then you just continue to gradually build that up. But that first goal is to get to that $1,000. And then if you have other things that you want to work on, like debt or investing, you can do that as well, as long as you've got that $1,000 as your stable base in that emergency fund. So, emergency funds matter because this is what's keeping you out of debt. This is what's keeping you from spiraling back into credit card debt or making your credit card debt even worse, or from being in a really, really bad situation if something happens. So, if you don't have a sinking fund for your car and you don't have a lot of disposable cash on hand, what are you going to do if you have a four-wheel drive car and one of your tires goes flat and you can't get it repaired, which means now you need a new tire, but because you have a four-wheel drive car or an all-wheel drive car, now you have to replace all of those tires. And I don't know about you guys, but this actually happened to me, and thankfully I had the cash to cover it, but I was expecting it to be like $500, maybe $100 per tire, and then $100 for the labor. No, you guys, it was almost $1,000. It was, I think, maybe a little over $800 to get new tires and to have them installed on my car. So, this is why emergency funds matter, because what are you going to do if that happens to you and you don't have the cash to cover for it? Or maybe, heaven forbid, you're in so much debt, you don't even have the credit card, like not income, the credit card limit, I guess, like your available money to even put it on a credit card because you're so far into credit card debt. And then now you have to ask for a loan from a friend or from a parent, or you have to get a payday loan, which has predatorily high interest rates. And you just get yourself stuck in just such a bad situation. And remember, with things like this that come up super unexpectedly, maybe you're in a car accident and you have to go to the emergency room, or maybe you have a kid and your kid gets sick and they have to go to a doctor's appointment and now you're having to pay for this copay, but you don't have a HSA, a house savings account. So that money is having to come from somewhere. And what are you going to do if you don't have it? And remember, it's not if this happens. Honestly, it's when this happens. Because whether or not it's your tires, or whether or not it's your kid getting sick, or whether or not it's you getting into a car accident and you have to go to the emergency room, something will happen. I hope it's not as severe as a car accident in the emergency room. I hope it's something just as simple as a flat tire where no one is injured and nothing happens. But at the end of the day, there's always going to be something. So maybe you own your own home and all of a sudden your refrigerator breaks. You've now just lost the thousands of dollars in food that you had in there and you have to buy a new fridge. What are you going to do? So, emergencies can look like a whole bunch of different things, and emergency fund in this context is not always a life or death emergency. Something like needing new tires if you don't have a car sinking fund, or home repairs if you don't have a home repairs fund, that comes out of that emergency fund. Or if you lose your job, that comes out of that emergency fund. So you have to be prepared for anything. And like I said earlier, with how much should you save? So ideally, we need that first $1,000 in a high yield savings account, and then gradually you're going to increase it to 3 to 6 months of living expenses. So you can either do it as the income that you bring in, or you can look at your bills and your necessities. So taking away your wants, bills, necessities, and debts. What is that bare minimum number? So then you can take that number and you can do a goal of, okay, I've saved my first $1,000. Now I'm going to save 1 month's worth of that bare minimum number. And then you just keep gradually building up and working until you get to a number that you feel comfortable with. So if you were to lose your job tomorrow, what is that number that you would want? So, for example, if I lost my job tomorrow, but my husband still has his, that number that we need is less than we would need if we both lost our jobs. So just keep that in mind. Keep in mind, are you a single income household? Do you have kids that depend on you? Does your husband work? Does your girlfriend work? Does your partner work? Whoever it might be, do you have roommates? What are you going to do if your roommate loses their job and then now they're asking you for help with rent and things like that? So just keep in mind whatever your unique living situation is, that will factor into how much you should save in that emergency fund. Then, like I said earlier, where to keep it. So you need to make sure that this money is accessible to you, but you don't necessarily want it to be extremely readily available. Because again, this is for emergencies. So you don't want to just play that game of transfer, 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 put it in and then take it out because I overspent too much money. Put it in and then take it out because, oh, I forgot I have this bill coming up because I didn't budget properly for this month. So you need to keep it in a high yield savings account that is separate from your main checking and just regular savings. So, for example, my husband and I, we have joint accounts and personal accounts with our local credit union. And then we use a high yield savings account for all of our sinking funds, like my son's medical fund. He was born early, so we keep a separate medical fund for him, our emergency fund, our travel fund, our car sinking fund, things like that. We keep all of that in a separate high yield savings account, and we use SoFi. I personally really love it because you can create separate savings vaults. So, like I said, we have all of those sinking funds, and you still get the 3.8 APY on each one of those vaults, which is super, super nice. So do your research, find a high yield savings account that you love, and we personally chose SoFi. If you like SoFi and you want to go with it, which I highly recommend, I have been so pleased. We have not had any problems with it. Go use my referral link. I'll have it linked in the show notes, and you can also find it in the link in the bio of any of my show notes. If you use my link, I get a bonus, and on top of that, you guys also get a $25 bonus added in, which that's literally free money for you just for setting up your account and using my referral code. So it's a win-win. Go use that code, get your high yield savings account set up today. And on high yield savings, I actually had someone comment on one of my posts on my socials that I had been posting a lot of videos recently about how important it is to set up a high yield savings account. And she actually commented and she told me that she finally did it, but for some reason it took her so long because she was scared to do it. And she said, I'm so glad I finally did it. And it was way easier than I thought. And it wasn't hard to do. But for some reason, I was just scared to do it. And the reason that this happens is because naturally, as humans, we avoid what we don't know. So if we don't know a lot about it, or honestly, if it involves money, typically we just avoid it. It seems like an insurmountable task, so we just don't do it, even though we know that it's recommended and it's beneficial for us because we don't know a lot about it. We feel like it's going to be confusing. We feel like it's going to take a lot of time and it involves money, which naturally will make people a little more anxious. But like she said, it's easy. You guys, this is easy to set up a high yield savings account. It is not hard, and you just transfer over a set amount. So do a direct deposit with so for example, with my work, I can go onto our work like HR website or whatever, where I can see my paychecks and I can see my payment allocations, and I can pick, okay, let's say 90% of my paycheck goes into our credit union account, and then 10% or 5% or whatever percent you want to do will automatically get direct deposited into that high yield savings account. So that's what we do. My money automatically gets transferred into my SoFi account, and then I can distribute it into whatever savings and whatever vaults I want to do from there. So this is easy. This is something that you guys need to get set up today. Just get it done. It's not hard. It will take you just a few minutes. Get it done, and you will be so grateful. This is free money. This is free money that you're missing if you don't use a high yield savings account. And the reason people stress this so much is because you will get 10 to 20 times more in interest than you would if you kept your money in a regular savings account. So in your regular savings account with your regular credit union, you're getting literally pennies. Pennies, you guys. Whereas if you have it in a high yield savings account like SoFi, you can be getting 10, 15, 20, 30, hundreds of dollars back, depending on how much money you have in there. It's a no-brainer. It's a secure way to store your money and invest in yourself because that money can just go right back into your savings. So now that I've gotten off my soapbox, you guys know high yield savings accounts are important. Go set one up. Use my SoFi referral link. You'll get $25 added into your account for you just for using my link and for setting one up. So a lot of people think, well, I live paycheck to paycheck, so I just can't right now. I can't do it. You can, and let's talk about it. You can start an emergency fund on any income. Use my 1 month expense audit, and I'll have that linked in the show notes for you. It's free. And what you do is you take the past 30 days of expenses and you're going to look at everything that came out of your account. So all of your bills, all of your spending, your wants, your necessities, things like that. And you're going to look at where you're overspending, what you can drop down on, what you can allocate to other areas, things like that. And then you're going to take a look at that. You're going to adjust your budget as needed. I also have a budgeting template that you can get from the link in the bio of my show notes. And what this does is this allows you to then look at, oh, I actually have an extra $5 a month to invest. Oh, I actually have an extra $20 to invest into my future. And remember this, yes, you're saving, but this is an investment into you. You are important. Future you is important. Future you will be grateful that you took care of you. You are worth taking care of, and that is worth the financial sacrifice now to have something in the future when you need it. Me having $1,000 set aside for car repairs was worth it because when I needed $800 for my tires, I didn't have to freak out and lose my mind and question where I was going to get that money from, because prior me took care of future me, and then when future me actually needed that money, it was there. So I'm telling you, even if you're paycheck to paycheck right now, use that 1 month expense audit. Get a good budget set up, and if you need help working through that, set up a one-on-one coaching call with me, or sign up for private coaching, or even join Her Money Club, and we can answer your questions and we can go from there. It's important. Even if it's $5 a month, even if it's $5 a paycheck, take your spare change and put it in that savings account. And gradually over time, it will build up. As you become more comfortable with your money, you'll notice that it kind of just gets easier. When you first start budgeting, it's hard, it's confusing, it's overwhelming, but you just have to stick with it, keep with it, and you'll notice that you get more and more comfortable. You'll get more resourceful. You'll find more ways to get more money into saving or more money towards your debts. And you'll find that your finances are more of a priority to you, because truly it is important. So let's talk about what actually constitutes as an emergency. So I touched on this a little bit earlier. So we're not always going to be talking about life or death in the finance world when we're talking about an emergency fund. So the definition of an emergency in hospital world is way different than finance world. So true emergencies in finance world where you might need to use your emergency fund can include things like a surprise car repair that you need to get done. It has to be done because if you don't, you have no way to get to work. Or maybe you have a sudden medical bill and it's not covered by your insurance, and your fridge dies and you need a replacement. Now, keep in mind, a replacement does not mean an upgrade. So if an upgrade is not in your budget and that doesn't work, we're not going to use our emergency fund to just upgrade our fridge if it dies. We're going to replace it. And then if we have that supplemental income where we can use our emergency fund to cover that cost of the replacement, and then let's say we have that $1,000 extra to upgrade just in our regular cash flow, absolutely go for it. But the upgrade does not constitute an emergency. The replacement, absolutely it does. Now, also, it could be job loss or loss of income or emergency vet care for your pet, or you're finding yourself hospitalized after something happened. Now, not emergencies. Again, listen to me so closely. These do not count as emergencies. So if you don't have the cash in your budget to spend on this, you do not take money out of your emergency fund for these things. You ready? Listen up. That vacation deal that you just can't pass up. Holiday gift shopping. Your friends do not need you to spend $500 total on presents for them if you can't actually afford it. True friends do not want you to do that. A sale at your favorite clothing store when you didn't even want it to begin with, you only want it because you saw that there's a sale. If you don't have the money to cover buying those 2 pairs of jeans to get one free, you're not taking money out of your emergency fund to buy it. Concert tickets. Your favorite artist is coming into town and you don't have the cash to cover it. I'm so sorry, but no, that does not mean you take money out of your emergency fund for these tickets. If this is something that you can plan in advance, then let's start budgeting for that. So if you know that they're coming into town in December and it's June, you have 6 months to save up and get those tickets bought. Or I don't go to concerts, so honestly I don't know. Maybe you only have 3. Maybe you have 4 months. I don't know. But look at that amount of time and say, okay, this is how much these tickets are going to cost me. This is how much food and drinks are going to cost me. Now, let me divide that by 3 months, or by 4 months, or by 5 months, or 6 months, however much the amount of time is. Divide the amount that you need by the amount of time you have, and try to put away that amount into savings in your sinking fund, in your high yield savings account. So label it concert. That way you can see and you can remember, if you want to take money out of there, you know exactly what that sinking fund is for. That sinking fund is for your concert. So maybe you're going to put $100 a month into that sinking fund if you can afford it. And you're going to remember, okay, this is what this money is for. I'm not going to use my emergency fund because I'm being responsible now. And I'm budgeting now to get this money for the concert when I need it. And another thing that's not an emergency, you guys, do not upgrade your phone just because your contract is up. So remember this rule of thumb. If it's not urgent, necessary, and unexpected, it's not an emergency. So let's talk about emergency fund do's and don'ts. So do. We're going to keep it liquid. That means it's cash, it's available to you, you can get it now if you need it. So we're going to keep it in a high yield savings account, like I said on my soapbox earlier. I use SoFi. I love SoFi. I've never had a problem with them. They're my go-to. I have a referral link in the show notes. Go use that link. Get yourself signed up today after you finish listening to this podcast, or while you listen to me, go set it up. Then this is a separate account. So within SoFi, like I was saying, you can have different vaults and different sections for your money. So I have my emergency fund in one saving section, but I don't have that mixed with my travel fund because that just gets confusing. So if you know that you have, let's say you have $2,000 in your emergency fund, but then you're also contributing money into your travel fund. So let's say you have $500 in your travel fund, but you're keeping it in the same savings account. So it looks like you have $2,500. Well, is it for travel? Is it for emergencies? Is it for car repairs? What is it for? So, to prevent the confusion, use SoFi and get those vaults set up. So, Theo's, for my son, Theo's medical fund, my emergency fund, home repairs, car repairs, things like that. So that way you can see, oh, I have this much in this account, I have this much in this account, and for my emergency fund, I have this much in this account. You can see it easily. Then you're going to automate your savings when you can. So even if it's just $5 a week, you're going to get a transfer set up and you are going to just put it in there. No amount is too small to start with. And going off of that, celebrate your milestones. So when you first reach your first $100, celebrate that. Have a date night at home. Maybe spend $5 on a coffee out for yourself. That's okay. You're still allowed to have joy while you're working on these things. Celebrate when you hit $500. Celebrate when you hit that first $1,000. It is so exciting and you will be so grateful. Now, don't. So we're not going to put it in an investment account. So this money needs to be safe and not subject to any market swings for when you need it. And we're not going to use this for planned expenses like holidays or birthdays. We're not going to lend this money out, even to family, because that is not what this money is for. And we're not going to think that this money is too small to matter, because every dollar counts when it comes to an emergency fund. So let's talk about mindset blocks around emergency funds. So let's get a little bit deeper here because let's be honest, most people understand and they know that an emergency fund is important, but they still don't build one. Why? So here are some common mindset blocks. I'll just use my credit card. So credit is not security. This is debt with interest. So you're solving your temporary problem right now with a bigger problem in the future that you're going to have to deal with. And then again, I don't have enough to save anything. This is not true, and this is a scarcity mindset trap. Even saving $5 shows your brain that you're capable of preparing and growing. Then another one, this one comes from financial trauma. So if I save it and if I have an emergency fund, something bad will happen. This one is deep. This is financial trauma, and oftentimes this is passed down from your parents or your grandparents or whoever. So let's break that belief and let's rewrite the story. It's just called being prepared. And I always end up using it anyway. So what's the point? The point is resilience. The point is self-trust. The point is that you're learning to have your own back. Emergency funds are a form of self-care. Like I said, it's you investing into future you. This is a declaration that no matter what life throws at you, you will be okay. We need to normalize that. So, here's your next step after this episode is over. Start your emergency fund today. Not tomorrow, not when things feel easier. Start it now with whatever you have. Even if that means you transfer $1 into that account, do it. Open a high yield savings account. And remember to use my link. You get that $25 referral bonus if you use the link in the show notes. Use my 1-month expense audit to figure out where your money is actually going and how you can redirect some of that into savings. And if you're ready for a complete budgeting reset, either do one-on-one coaching with me to help you work through everything, hold that accountability. I offer 3-month coaching periods, or you can just do a one-time one-on-one coaching call to help you get set up with everything. And you can also grab my budget bundle. So this includes my signature budgeting template, the 10-day money mindset challenge, and the 2-week budget bootcamp that teaches you to manage your income and your expenses without burnout. And if you want to stay motivated and supported long-term with a community, come join Her Money Club, you guys. This is my monthly membership where we talk finances, mindset, and leveling up together. And remember, if you're craving personalized support and that accountability piece, I offer one-on-one coaching. So if you feel stuck, overwhelmed, or you're unsure how to move forward with your financial goals, let's work together. You do not have to do this alone. Your emergency fund isn't just about money. It's about investing into you. It's about stability. It's about the peace of mind. And most of all, it's about trusting yourself and proving to yourself that you can be your own safety net. You don't need to depend on anyone else for this. And that is huge as a woman to be able to say that and to say, I've got this. I've got this. So remember, you've got this. And I am here to help you every step of the way. And I hope you have the most amazing week, you guys.